We're live.
We're live.
We are live. We are live. Welcome, everyone.
All right, what is up, guys? Welcome to a segment that Mac makes us wake up at 5:30 in the morning. It's called.
Hey, this is your choice. We can go back to bed if you want.
Huh?
We can go back to bed if you want.
No, yeah, it's just content. This is great.
I have to be up now anyway.
So, as you know, for everybody that we've ever produced, I am Deke. Over here, Josh Sass. Down here, new to the cameras, Greg McGregor.
First time in front of the camera. Excited.
I think, do we count the wiffle ball render?
That was my debut.
They're my best friend.
Look, there's Derek.
What's up, Brody? Up here.
He's doing his best.
Over here.
You'll get it. All right, so what we're doing today, guys, is the morning thoughts we all wanted to show because we obviously have 2 Beers Deep. We obviously have the Idiot Hour. We wanted more of a quick-hitting show that talks about not just CFGB on itself, but just what we wanted to talk about. The 3 of us have not been able to do content on our own, so this is the trial for that. Josh, just like with the Idiot Hour, why don't you lead this thing?
Yeah, man. First topic of the day is last week on the bench. So what went well, what didn't go well, what did we like? Maybe some of our favorite articles from the week.
Well, we got blocked on Facebook, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was just yesterday when I had a mini panic attack.
Part of the week.
That was terrible.
Officially spammed off Facebook.
Did you guys watch by any chance the video of me reading everyone's blogs last night?
No, I didn't.
It's not good, but it's funny. It's so funny. Like, people kept joining because it was a live video, and I kept saying, hey, just to let you know, this is Derek just reading, so.
Just reading off the blogs.
Yeah.
Deke, what was your favorite blog to read?
There were actually a bunch of really good ones, but I don't know. I'm always a big fan of Marty's Liquid and like TSM blog. So I am not a big league like LCS guy, but he's turning me into it. So I was just reading, and I had asked him to do it. So the Liquid blog, like talking about their team, their roster, he goes so in depth. It's the coolest ones for me because I don't instantly have an opinion because I don't know much about them.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite by far.
Okay.
What about you?
There's a couple. I mean, obviously, I liked the Brad Marchand one most, again, for Marty, just because it was so quick hitting. It was pretty funny. Obviously, hilarious. There was a couple ones. I mean, Dre and his hot take about Trevor Lawrence
That's why we got
somehow coming to the Steelers.
Because we photoshopped him on a Steelers jersey. That's why we got banned.
I bet
That's probably why we got banned. That's probably why we got spammed. I mean, Benny put together that article about Antonio Brown and Logan Paul, which is pretty funny as well. I mean, any article about Antonio Brown these days is a pretty hot topic. And then, I mean, you have Austin's article about where Tom Brady should go. I think that was another good one.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago. Austin also had a great one last week with the U versus Dexter.
Yeah, that was
Another good one.
Anastasia actually read the article, so that makes me think that it's like, oh my God, we did something right.
Dude, when I first saw you, I was like, this is exactly like Dexter. And he kind of breaks down the similarities pretty well.
Dexter's so much better than you.
Wait, what'd you say, Josh?
Dexter is so much better than you.
Oh yeah, I agree with that, but there are a lot of similarities.
Okay.
There are a lot of similarities.
Yes.
How they both narrate.
The guy's attractive.
Yeah, there's another good one.
Okay. And they're both serial killers. What else you got?
Just kind of how the show is set up and how it's narrated and how the 2 main characters are psychos.
Yeah, it's just one's far better written, has more revolving characters.
Yes, agree.
And then my favorite from last week was the great blog Dini, whoever the hell that is, wrote Adam Sandler got robbed. Hashtag justice for Sandler. I want it on a t-shirt. The man deserves a fucking nomination. I know he's not going to win. I don't care if he wins. He just deserves the nomination.
Can't be taken serious.
No, can't be. I mean, when you play a comedic role your whole life and then try to play a serious role like that in a movie like that, it's normally not going to go well.
It's
was a good
not
movie,
his
though. I
first
saw it.
serious role.
It was a great movie.
His first serious role was Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, but how long ago was that?
And that's a different type of serious.
2003.
This is like drama serious. Like
did you see it, Josh?
Not yet. Not yet.
It was nuts.
I'm very excited too because I am a Sandman diehard. Like I could meet Sidney Crosby, I could meet Mary Lemieux. I would not be starstruck, but if I meet Adam Sandler, I'll cry.
I want to play basketball with him so bad.
I love how Mama gave him a shout out.
Yeah. Kathy Bates' Twitter was on fire the other day.
Yeah, it was great.
I feel like him and I have the same athletic build for pickup basketball. He's just really good. So I think there's a chance we'd be friends.
I don't know if
he might be taller than you.
Basketball skilled. I don't know if you have the basketball.
I just said that he's much better at basketball. What did the focus there? Why do you have to rub it?
Just throwing it out there. I think you're built for being in between the pipes, Deke.
Wow.
That was brutal. All right.
That is video feed.
You ready to move on? The NFL playoffs, the AFC and NFC championships are this week. Who you got?
I don't see a single way that the Titans beat the Chiefs, but I've said that in the past 5 Titans games. So I'm kind of tired. We lost it.
Justin Boyd joins the chat. I fucking told you.
Now, the only way that they win is, let's start with that game. The only way they win is if Derrick Henry runs for 200 yards. That's it.
Yeah. The Titans literally have to control the clock in order to win that game. Like, there's no way that they have to be able to get like a 14-point lead and then somehow keep the offense on the field.
Yeah, because that worked so well for the Texans.
Yeah, it didn't go well for the Texans. Chiefs put up 50 points. The
In
Titans
3 quarters.
The Texans, I don't think, but
I think Boyd talked more shit about the Texans-Chiefs game when they were up 24-0 than anything that he's ever seen. I just let it happen. Mac, you should have seen this group chat.
80 messages in an hour.
I saw the photo of it, remember? I thought it was Sass.
80 messages in an hour. I've never seen anything like that.
I am not a mid-game shit talker. I'm not, because games are long and things happen. So
yeah. I agree with you there. You never know what's going to happen.
So what if, though, they managed to stop the most electric offense in the NFL, right? Like the Baltimore Ravens, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better offense this year, and they stopped them. So why couldn't he stop Mahomes?
I think the Chiefs are a different type of offense, though.
True. More
they're electric
air.
because of Lamar. The Chiefs are electric because Patrick Mahomes is the most talented quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. And you have guys like Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill.
How many touchdowns did he have last week, too?
Sammy Watkins. What?
How many did Kelce?
Kelce had 4 or 5.
Oh, my God.
Did you say Kelce?
He did say Kelce.
Kelce. How do you pronounce it?
It's just Kelce.
Kelce? Okay.
Yeah, but it was just super, super French.
Kelce. Mark Kelce.
They saw Kelce.
Kelce.
I don't know, the Titans do got a good defense, though. They really do. Vrabel's done a good job turning that team around, but it, I don't know, it's interesting. I don't want to see this man have to cut his jump off, so I kind of hope they lose.
Yeah, that'd be nice. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see a man go through that much pain. For a Super Bowl title. I don't know if it's worth it, man.
It is worth it. I think it is.
You think it's worth it? Super Bowl title, or you're having your junk cut off?
Mike Vrabel, with your first head coaching job, former player no one takes serious, to bring Ryan Tannehill in and Derrick Henry and those types of things, I'd consider cutting my penis off.
I don't know. Josh is not a chance.
All right, let's switch over to the other game. Nobody's cutting anything off for this one, but you got 49ers, Packers. Sass, who you got?
Dude, it's got to be the Packers. We got to have the State Farm Super Bowl. I need those commercials in my life.
You just want the State Farm Bowl. That's all you want.
Well, no. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback. He has one of the thing I keep going back to with their offense is he finally has a group of receivers that he's trained since they were little baby receivers. And that's a scary thought. when you have a guy who's that good who now has receivers like literally tailored to his tendencies. Like that's a scary thought for the offense. And then add Aaron to the back end field. Like I don't think you could beat that team.
I don't think any of the receivers are good outside of Devontae Adams, and I know you love it.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
But they've proven that they can't be good on him, but they are, like you mentioned, they're good for him. Like, Devontae Adams is going to get 17 catches for 1 trillion yards and 7 touchdowns. But the other guys just have to make plays here and there, and Alan Lazard has proven that no names can play. So.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Rodgers he's a bad man. I mean, the Packers are there. I mean, it's hard to count out this 49ers team. I mean, with the defense they've had all season long. You got Richard Sherman. You got just a bunch of studs on the defensive side, and then you got Jimmy G on offense, Emmanuel Sanders, a couple solid running backs. I mean, I think it's going to be a closer of the two games. But I think I'm with Sass on this one. I hope the Packers pull it off. I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. Always been a fan of him. It'd be good to see him bring home another Lombardi.
I want Andy Reid to win a ring, man.
Yeah,
that cements him as a Hall of Famer, and I love him. So.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Andy Reid getting the Super Bowl title would be nice as well. But, we're talking about the semifinals here. We're talking about the conference championships here, Deke. We gotta wait another week until we talk about who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you just said you'd like to see Aaron Rodgers get to the Super Bowl. Why can't I say I'd like to see Andy Reid get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl?
Well, you're just taking it another step farther. That's all I'm saying.
I always do.
All right, ready? Next topic. This weekend is UFC, yada, yada, yada. Who knows? But it is McGregor versus Cowboy.
McGregor.
I know it's a text, and I know you are self-conscious about your spelling guide, but it is not McGregO.
Well, it's not spelled that way on the rundown, so we're good. It's all capitalized because that's how we do things.
This weekend, guys, Saturday night, we got the notorious McGregor against Cowboy Cerrone. This is one of the most entertaining UFC fights in recent memory, and the main reason is that he hasn't fought since Khabib, and he came out and said that he hasn't had a drink in 3 to 4 months, and that he was basically shooting shots before the Khabib fought. And Cowboy, he's dangerous. Like, Cowboy Cerrone it's funny because it's like the American versus the Notorious, and it's this whole dynamic, but at the same time, this is the first time Connor's gone into a fight and actually said he respected the man across the ring from him.
Yeah.
Do you want the odds?
I'm excited to see McGregor fight again.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've seen him, and just kind of how he's come out in the past couple days, and just kind of seems like he's recommitted to the sport a little bit. So I definitely think it's going to be exciting. It's definitely going to be worth the watch for sure.
Okay, so the odds are 260 to 335 that McGregor beats Cowboy. I think that's how that works. Cowboy's a plus 260. So that means they don't think they'll win.
That means Connor's favored.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the over-under is a plus 110 on the rounds, going past 1.5.
Wow. I mean, it's going to be interesting because Cowboy says, should I take McGregor to the ground? Probably, but he said, how often do you get to stand toe-to-toe with one of the greats?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see a fighter not really choose to – I mean, I'm sure he will, but not really choose to use the weakness of McGregor, which has technically been his ground game, and that's how Khabib beat him. He's one of the most lethal strikers we've ever seen, and if you don't believe that, he went into boxing, and you can call his match fake, but he's a lethal guy. Like, he's just deadly. He told a story the other day in an interview where he basically would, like, get drunk in a hotel, go down to the weight room and train, or whatever it is, call people, they would fight, he'd knock them out, and then they'd go out party and just come back and do the same thing. Like, he's in a better place now. This dude's a psychopath.
Sounds like it.
But do you think that maybe
I don't know too much about him, but like I've seen a couple of his fights, seen a couple of his knockouts, and it's gonna be fun to watch. I mean, it's definitely worth the watching.
I've never gotten confirmation out of my buddy whether or not he named his first son Connor on purpose because of Conor McGregor, but definitely the child was conceived at the peak of McGregor being Conor McGregor, so it's hard for me to imagine it isn't. Um, but do you think maybe because he is in a better place and because he is a millionaire and because he has all this stuff, he doesn't have that piss and vinegar anymore to win?
Opposite. He came out with a quote the other day, too, saying that LeBron James has invested $15 million into his body, and Conor was like, I wasn't doing that. He's like, I was doing it on cars and watches that were bleeding me out, and on the whiskey company and stuff like that. And it's, I think he is a student of the game first. That's how he rose to fame. And then he started the showmanship. Then he started the showboating. And it came very quickly in his success. But I think that he now is at a place where he can appreciate the style of the game more. So I think he's more focused than ever.
I think he has a better understanding of what it takes to have success at the best level. I mean, going up against a guy like Khabib, I think that kind of woke him up a little bit, took a couple of things loose.
And that fight was ugly.
Yeah, and now he's kind of coming back into form.
Who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck?
That might have been the best press conference ever, though.
You know who that was? Cowboy Cerrone.
Yep.
Oh, man, I can't wait for that package on Sunday.
Yep.
That intro package is going to be so... Actually, they should call the WWE, have their guys do it, because they'll make it so much better than the UFC guys.
That's funny, because it was Cowboy, and they were chirping, and it's... I mean, probably wrong. I hope I'm not wrong about that, but it's hysterical.
That's awesome. All right, next topic. The return and debut of Zion Williams?
Yes, the debut. The debut. Zion's coming back, and it's kind of funny because Brandon Ingram just had 49 points last night, a career high. So as a Lakers fan, I hated the kid simply because he wasn't performing. And there's a lot of things that Greg and I fight about on Two Beers Deep, and one of them is to let players mature in the game today. But this Pelicans team is promising. I'm talking about like Timberwolves when they drafted Cat and had Wiggins promising.
Yeah. I mean, the whole talk coming into the season once the Pelicans got Zion was this team could be dangerous. Like, you know, they might sneak in as a 7 or 8 seed in the West, but like they're going to be dangerous. I mean, you look at the roster already; they got guys like, you know, Drew Holiday, JJ Redick, Lonzo's starting to come to form, and then when Ingram does what he did last night, and then you throw in Zion Williams into that, like, they're going to be dangerous. Like, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. But on top of that, I mean, we've been waiting to see Zion play in the NBA for how long? Like 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years.
Like, this is what everyone's been waiting for. I'm just hoping that he can stay healthy. Like, there's all these questions surrounding him. Is he really going to be able to play at like 275, 280 pounds? I'm just hoping he can stay healthy. You don't want to see a guy like that go down and like not have an NBA career. I'm excited to say the least.
I can tell.
How good was Christian Laettner in the NBA?
He had a very below average career, but he also was on the Dream Team.
Yeah.
So take it for what you'd like.
Okay. Cool.
He was on the Dream Team, but he was the college guy, which was a snub because Shaquille O'Neal didn't get to go on the Dream Team.
Okay.
Was it Shaq?
I don't know.
There was someone else coming out of college that year that Christian Laettner went over that everyone was pissed about. But he didn't do too well.
I just wonder, you know, to me, and this was my argument the second I watched Zion play, and you and I talked about it a lot, Derek, was he's bullying little boys in college. What's going to happen when he's going up against dudes that are his size and are able to deal with his physicality? That's my big question.
I will say there is only one person in the NBA that is heavier than him, and that is Boban.
Yeah.
He is the second heaviest, but he is muscular. Like a lot of people are big worried because they're like, his easiest pro comp is Charles Barkley. Sorry, I thought someone was calling me. It was an alarm. His easiest pro comp is Charles Barkley, and the reason being Charles bullied people in the pros. I don't think Zion instantly comes in and is the greatest player we've ever seen, but what we're looking from him is to get back to that nitty-gritty post game. And I think that he brings something to that team that they'll look to make him be that guy.
Okay.
I mean, he dominated when the games he did play in the summer league. I mean, dominated. I mean, the first 5 minutes of the first game he played in, he literally ripped the ball out of someone's hands. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that, but it was like it's a bully move, basically. He just like kind of grabbed the ball from this guy, took it away, threw it down. I mean, I think those are the type of plays that we're going to see. And then I think the thing I'm excited about most is having him and Lonzo on the same team. I mean, that run and gun type offense, throwing lobs, I think that's going to be really fun to watch, too.
Mm-hmm.
Really creative.
All right.
Excited. January 22nd. Spurs. Zion returns.
Not yesterday.
Not yesterday, no.
Next topic. Recently, the MLB has been struck with a scandal of the Houston Astros stealing signals from other teams, and the fallout from that has now affected the Boston Red Sox, and just all of the insanity based around this is really sending shockwaves through sports. What are our opinions?
I mean, it's wild. I mean, sign stealing has been a part of the game for so long, but it's more been testing someone's knowledge, ability to steal signs rather than using technology to do so. So it's kind of starting to come out with the advances in technology in the game, things like that. And it's kind of taken it to a new level. And the information that has come out in the past couple days, I don't know if you guys saw it at all yesterday, but at first it was the Astros using videos to kind of relay signs with the garbage can. And then yesterday the news came out that they were using buzzers on the inside of their jerseys, and there was a lot of evidence to kind of support that. When Jose Altuve came across home plate after he hit his walk-off, and he's like holding on to his jersey. He's like, "Don't rip off my jersey. I got the wire." So I mean, it's crazy. Kind of all the stuff is coming out, and I mean, they haven't even handed down the punishments for like Alex Cora from the Red Sox yet for his kind of involvement in the 2017 scandal. So it's good. I think it's gonna be interesting to see kind of how it all still plays out. I think there's a lot of dominoes that are still left to fall. It's gonna be really interesting.
Well, I asked Greg this last night on Two Beers Deep, Mac. If you're a baseball writer and you are voting someone in the Hall of Fame, are you more likely to vote in someone from the steroid era or someone on that Houston Astros team?
Good question.
So I saw something. Not to avoid your question, but I saw something on Twitter yesterday, and I think it was from Alex Wood on the Dodgers. He's a pitcher for the Dodgers, and he was like, I would so much rather pitch to a steroid user than a guy who knew every pitch that was coming.
Yeah.
And I think so. So to answer your question, I would probably take someone from the steroid era over a guy. I mean, you don't know all the players involved that were actually using the buzzers.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, the buzzers, I think, is completely out of, like, that's taking it to another level. Like, if I'm listening for someone to hit a garbage can in the background, like, I think that's, I mean, it's part of, like, that's just taking it to a different level.
Yeah.
Then you have a buzzer, you know exactly what's coming if it's, like, on your body. So I think there's an extent, but I think to answer your question, I think I'd take someone from the steroid era for sure.
Josh?
Man. Because
cheating in general just sucks, though.
I firmly stand by, in sports, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. To me, like, that's, if it's not in the rule book, then they didn't break any rules.
Well, I mean, it was in the rule book.
That you're not allowed to wear a buzzer?
You're not allowed to wear steroids.
It's true. That is in the rule book, though. You weren't allowed to wear steroids. Yeah, I guess the sane argument is to say you would vote in somebody from the steroid era because they still have to hit the ball. Whether or not it goes further than everybody else, they still have to make contact. But they were able to play in more games because they recovered faster. Like,
It's tough.
It's really tough.
Malik and I went heavy on it for a while, and honestly, I was surprised. I was more lenient towards the steroid users' ability, that it was more of an individual choice and things like that. The problem I had with the Astros thing is, and Greg's point was, you can tell me what pitch is coming. I still have to pitch it, to which I said back, yeah, but you aren't, it's not me and you. These are the best baseball players on the planet. No way. I mean, that's the difference for me. In the steroid era, you didn't know the pitch was coming. You were just jacked out of your mind, ready to hit something.
Yeah.
The buzzer, these are the best players on the planet who hit balls all the time without cheating, and now you're telling them where the ball's going to be.
Yeah, I think the difference is goes back to, okay, so it's X number of seasons, right? So, like, let's say they play on the Astros for 3 seasons. Garrett Cole played on for 2 or whatever, right? That to me does not define your whole career because you were a part of one thing. Whereas, like, the steroid users were probably jacked most of their career. So I guess because of that, I would go towards the Houston Astros players, assuming that they also go on to play prolifically for the rest of their career.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, it's funny to see, like, not funny, but it's crazy to see because knowing what pitch is coming kind of gives you such an advantage. I mean, there was a photo yesterday on Twitter of Jose Altuve, and he's going up against Aroldis Chapman in the late innings of one of their games, and this guy, Aroldis Chapman throws between 99, 98, and 106 miles an hour, and Jose Altuve is at the front of the box, like with his front foot on the front line of the box. No one sits that far up in the box when you're facing a guy that throws over 100 miles an hour on a consistent basis. And it just gives you such advantage. And from what the tweet said, the pitch that was coming was a changeup. So he knew it was coming, scooted up in the box, and he smashed it. I mean, it's just crazy the advantage that it gives you knowing what pitch is coming. And it sucks for the sport, too, honestly. I mean, having all this stuff come out.
Right.
Let more people cheat. Baseball's boring.
Maybe baseball would be more exciting if there was a buzzer and everybody was jacked out of their minds. Take the defense out of the game. That's what every other franchise is doing, right?
Hashtag cork the bat.
Right.
Same as those.
All right, next topic. The return of the kid. Sidney Crosby came back to the Penguins after a 28-game absence. And they beat the pants off of the Minnesota Wild 7-3 or 8-3, and then last night they lost to the Boston Bruins 4-1. However, the only goal for the Penguins was Sid's. Guys, the Penguins were one of the hottest teams in the NHL before they got Crosby back, and they basically just got the best player in the world back to their roster. Sphincters around the NHL are tightening quickly.
I do have a question, though. I didn't watch either game so far. What did they do with Rust? Because I know that he was on Gino, and there was a big conversation about, do you take the number 1 winger and take him away from the hottest line in the league, and what's happened with that?
Yeah, so the lines have been, for the most part, Sid and Rust, and then they moved McCann up with Sid, which I think all of us wanted to see happen as long as we felt the third line could maintain and sustain its abilities, which is Bluger, ZAR, and Tanev, and that's the best third line in hockey right now. And like I wrote in the article this week, Penguins fans will tell you it's early, but when you have a team going like they're going right now, and you have one of the best third lines in hockey, and Sid and Gino are both producing at that level, generally there's some hardware at the end of this type of a run.
Well, and I mean, the last cup we really dominated was the HBK line.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm with you on that one.
Now, the HBK line scored a lot more than this Tanev unit does, or the Bluger unit, but more reminiscent of, like, the Jordan Stahl era for the 08 and 09 cups, where, like, they're just constantly in the other team's face. They're constantly forcing the other team to play defense. They're hemming teams in and then getting an offensive change, which, if you go off of modern statistics and heart rate statistics from the NHL. If you can double up on a line or even triple up on a line, you're most likely going to score a goal. And because of the Tanev line's ability to get the puck deep and keep it there, they're sneaking on really good players late, or they're scoring on rushes, which they did against the Minnesota Wild. They scored 8 goals. They scored 7 or 6 of them on the rush, which good luck trying to stop that. I don't care what goalie you got in between the net.
And I mean, Sid bouncing off his own effing net is the most
That was
I've ever seen. Because I didn't know where the puck went the first 20 times I watched that.
Right.
I was like, okay, like, did he dangle it? Is it a toe drag? Did he bounce off the wall? And then you look and hockey.
I mean, like, Sass, you had told me that you submitted that blog, and I was like, all right, so we got an article coming about Sid, and I'm scrolling through my Twitter. I see the highlight for the first time. I'm like, oh, my God, please tell me you put this in there. Because I think that's the most, like, ridiculous move I've ever seen in hockey. I mean, I don't watch a lot of hockey, but I think that's the most ridiculous move I've ever seen.
Well, Josh, how many people would have gotten that puck stuck in the net?
Yeah. Like, it was ridiculous.
Like, how many players it would have gone a little bit too high or bounced off it or something, and it wouldn't... Because he didn't just, like, hit it off the net. He hit it with a purpose.
Yeah.
The metal, like, that's...
Not many people think to do that. Like, I'm going to turn around by bouncing the puck off the post and just going right around this kid.
I mean, that's schoolyard stuff.
Yeah.
The play is more done traditionally on the wall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that the pressure was coming towards him on his left shoulder, so he threw it off the net. And I think even to complicate the move, he's on his backhand when he does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the accuracy off of his backhand to feed it so perfectly to spin and send the guy going, it's why he's the best player of the game, boys. Connor McDavid is electric, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but Connor McDavid is very much an offensive juggernaut. He does not have the passing ability of Crosby. He does not have the brain of Crosby. He's like, they always used to say that Mario Lemieux was the best athlete to ever play the game and that Wayne Gretzky was the best hockey player. Connor McDavid is the best athlete.
Who the fuck?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this guy?
No, I mean, but you know what sucks is Gino's no-look backhanded pass to set up Rusty was just as pretty.
Yeah.
That was, and the quote, the quote was, "Did you call for that pass?" And Rusty said, "No." This is the reporter goes, "Well, how do you know you were there?" He's like, "I don't know. He's Russian. He's got 3 eyes." Like, I just.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
If
They
Gino,
have like a sixth sense, those Russians.
You just know.
oh, if
You
Gino
just,
keeps,
Step onto ice, they like grow a third eye, like over here or something.
if Gino keeps playing like this,
I mean, this is what it's always been for them, hasn't it? Though,
Right.
Like, I mean, these two guys step up, and then they kind of just like fill in around them and produce left and right, and kind of all starting to come together this year. I mean, Sass, you probably watched them more than all of us, but I mean, what's the difference between like what they were doing last year and what they've been doing this year that's kind of allowed them to have this run?
they're listening to the best coach in the NHL.
Okay, that's it's simple as that, I guess.
So I've had this discussion with so many people, right? That is such a team kill or a coach killing team because the coach can't tell Sidney Crosby what to do, right? And you don't need to because he's Sidney Crosby. He's always on the defensive side of the puck. He's always in the zone for the breakout. He's not like he's the perfect player. So, but if you can't tell Crosby what to do, then you can't tell Malkin what to do, right? And then you got to that world where, like, well, if you couldn't tell Malcolm what to do, you couldn't tell Phil what to do. If you can't tell Phil what to do, then you can't tell Tanger what to do. And if you can't tell Tanger what to do, boom, 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 right? By removing the Phil Kessel slot, you're now saying, look, there's 2 best players on the team. That's why they get paid the most. They can do what they want. Everyone else has to listen to me. And Mike Sullivan, I will make the argument is the greatest Penguins coach ever. And if he wins another cup this year, you know how the Penguins like to do it. They go back-to-back. Whether they win both, we don't know, but they never go once. They always go twice. So if by the end of the 2021 season, Mike Sullivan's standing there with 3 or 4 rings on his fingers, it's hard not to compare him to Scotty Bowman. And that is the greatest coach of all time.
I believe Bill Cowher should be up for this award.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
Okay. You ready to move on to the next topic?
We have one more?
Yep, one last one. So this week we introduced 2 of these awesome memes that I'm hoping we can continue with. I only have one up here, and it is the guy holding the sign in the Thoughts from the Bench sweatshirt that says "Nutting was stealing signs. Please impeach him."
That was good. That was really good.
Ryan Votash is the creator of that one, and the Deke tell Greg that I disagree with him politely or draw a 25 meme. Boys, this kind of stuff to me just really helps people see what's going on Slack and in the group chats. And I hope we keep doing it, because this one, every time I look at it, tickles me. Even the fact that the sweatshirt is, you know what I mean? Like, great.
I mean, I'm just happy that his head is the same size as the sweatshirt, unlike Trevor Lawrence.
I had 10 minutes.
Good job.
No, I don't know, man. I told Bo, I texted Bo that, because I wanted to do, and I did something, I don't know if you guys saw, when I beat Dre in fantasy, because he sucks at fantasy, we get to switch profile pictures. So his profile picture was the cat meme, where he was the woman and Odell was with him, and he was screaming, "I'm really good at fantasy," and I was the cat, and I said, "LOL, now you suck." So I sent that to Bo, and we were laughing about it. But then when the 25 card draw thing came up, I texted him. I was like, "Yo, take this, make fun of me." He was like, "Well, what do I put?" I was like, "I don't give a shit." I said, "Talk to Josh, talk to Mac, talk to Mal, talk to Dre. Just make fun of me." So I'm all for memes coming at me as long as they're as hysterical as that one. And then the nutting one, it's great. Like, it's topical. We got a ton of retweets on it. It's funny. It's perfect.
It's definitely been making its rounds, because I had a couple friends that I was just like looking at my phone one day, and one of my friends' name popped up, and he doesn't follow the blog or anything like that, and I was like, so I thought it was for like my personal it was a notification from my personal Twitter, and I looked at it, and it was for Thoughts from the Bench. I'm like, this thing's making the rounds. If someone that doesn't follow the blog is finally seeing it, like it's getting up there. And, I mean, people hate nutting, so something like that, it's gonna make the rounds, and people are gonna find it funny.
We have to stop nutting.
Yeah.
That's what the Thoughts from the Bench 2020 goal is stop nutting.
Stop
nutting.
Stop nutting.
We can do it.
Oy. All right, well, that's all the topics we had for today.
All right. Go back to bed.
Okay, go back to bed.
No.
I gotta go to the gym.
Cool, aren't you cool?
Right?
Screw me. All right. Well, this was wonderful, and I think this will be successful for us, at least. Who knows if people will actually enjoy it or like it? I doubt it, because Mac's on camera.
Nothing I do on camera is successful.
All right. You going to say goodbye?
All right, guys. Thank you for watching the Morning Thoughts. We will see you next Friday, unless I quit.